Narrative in the book, mise-en-scène in the film, and gameplay in Lord of the Rings Online use different methods to set the scene, provide the background, and create atmosphere. In The Fellowship of the Ring, the reader is dependent on the story world of Tolkien through his descriptive narrative and mapping, and of course our own imaginative process. We become involved with the story. The Weathertop scene will be perceived differently by each reader, as each reader relies on his own experience to visualize the scene. In the film, the viewer sees Peter Jackson's interpretation. Through his use of mise-en-scène, we are drawn into the director's version, which will be essentially the same for all viewers. Lotro gameplay incorporates elements of the previously mentioned media. Many of the elements of mise-en-scène are predefined, as in the movies. The player can change landscape, for example. The lack of narrative could also present a problem, but the player can create her own narrative by recalling the book or the film, and through imaginative use of the camera she can create immersion. Please join me in the walkthrough. Okay, so here I am arriving across the road from the Forsaken Inn after a very easy journey by swift horse from Celodin. What I like about the gameplay here is the desolate landscape that the game creators made. It's not very inviting. What I have to do now is look around and get a feel for the whole area and see Weathertop in the distance, which looks very menacing in a way, and so now I'm trying to find my way up. It's one of the built-in difficulties with this game to find the paths. They're not always easy to find. The map's not always a big help. Here I'm on my horse. I like using the horse because point of view, things seem a little bit different. You're moving at a different speed. It's also a nice touch of point of view, and also mise-en-scène in a way, because you're looking at the set differently. Here I'm trying to find my way up to Weathertop. It was very difficult. I fell off the cliff at least 3 times until I found the road. It was very unclear. And what I did, of course, is look at the map, but the map is not really a big help. It's okay for a very general idea, but for specifics, it's not any help at all. So this also, I think this built-in difficulty makes the gameplay also more interesting and gives you more immersion. Also, these ruins start giving us a sense of history. There's no narrative, other than our own. So history and previous events have to be created by mise-en-scène, which is already here, which has been put into the game by the creators, which is and I really do like that. And of course, I think back on the events in the movie or the book to immerse myself more. Here I did finally, after I think an hour, find the path up to Weathertop, and now I'm looking at and pondering, what was it like if you go up there? What would it be like in the story? I deliberately chose to show the towering ruins, and also here to view the landscape, the hills in the background, the clouds, not quite sunny, maybe a storm is coming. That also evokes a kind of an atmosphere. Here I'm finally up at Weathertop looking around at the ruins. Because, as I mentioned before, the lack of narrative, unless you know the story from the other media, you're not quite sure what this actually is. Of course, most people do, so I don't think it's a big problem. Here I'm trying to get a view of this again, and another nice element of the game, of immersion, is these attacks by creatures you didn't see because your camera angle. And in my case, it was quite difficult because I'm only level 15, and any attack by a creature in this region is usually very serious. I like looking at this at night now. At night, you have another feeling, maybe a more somber, solemn feeling. I'm off. Sometimes, of course, you have to turn it on to play the game, but I do like it off because you feel more like you're actually maybe in a movie or on a set. Now I'm looking at the Weathertop for the final goodbye, and making my way back down the entranceway. What I tried to do here as my final visit, I tried to get a feeling for the setting of Weathertop, where it's located in the story, looking at the desolate hills, the outlines of the mountains in the background, starry sky. I think that it really does help certainly helps create an atmosphere. And the way you look at it with your own camera angle, of course, can either enhance it or completely ignore it. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my little walkthrough. Sorry for the sound issues. I'm on the road and I have my old laptop with me, which is not quite up to par. So, see you in class. Bye.